Good morning. I'm happy to be here with Deccan Herald, dignitaries, Mr. Rahul Dravid, our partners and participants. I want to start with something personal. I am a Bangalorean, born and raised. My father, Ravi Puravankara, has been building for 50 years this year, so this is quite personal. At the time, of course, Bangalore was still the garden city, quiet, greener, and unhurried. I've seen the city change with scale, speed, and ambition. What hasn't changed, however, is its capacity to evolve. Today, as we stand here talking about Bengaluru 2040 and we imagine Bengaluru as a megacity of the future, I think the question isn't really about if we will grow. Of course we will. The question is about how wisely will we grow. Because scale without sensitivity will cause stress. Speed without foresight can cause inequality, and technology without humanity will create distance. At Puravankara, I've sometimes heard it being said that cities are not built in phases, they're built in consequence, meaning that the decisions we make today will be echoed for decades. That's why the vision of Bengaluru 2040 resonates with us. We're not here to talk about quick fixes, cosmetic upgrades. We're here to discuss something far more meaningful: intentional design. When I think about Bangalore's future, I don't see skylines of ever taller towers. I see a city of people, young, diverse, inventive, and quite restless for meaningful change. Today, Bangalore's median age is just about 20 years old, lower than the national average and quite reflective of a vibrant, opportunity-hungry population. This isn't a statistic, it's a charge for urban leaders, for developers, because a young city cannot thrive on yesterday's infrastructure, assumptions, or solutions. To me, the mark of a thriving city is about intelligent governance, equitable opportunity, and hopefully an ecosystem where humans and technology collaborate to elevate the experience of everyday life, some of which we do experience today. We have seen how technology and AI can rewire the fabric of civic life here in Bangalore as well. When it comes to traffic and mobility, there are AI-powered adaptive traffic signals across a lot of our intersections that adjust traffic times according to real-time traffic flow. At some point, this can become a city-level coordination of traffic signals, public transport, emergency corridors, and commuter data that can possibly all go into one mobility system. Even when we talk about traffic enforcement, there are AI tools now that detect major traffic violations across our city roads. This, of course, has improved compliance, but it also reduces the need for physical enforcement. We can talk about civic maintenance, where AI cameras and analytics are being used to identify potholes and other infrastructure faults. In fact, I think we're also exploring robotics and AI to detect water leaks and illegal connections in our underground water networks. Platforms like this, technology like this, can actually help us move from being more responsive and reactive to thinking more about predictive maintenance. We can also talk about our urban planning and the environment. AI is already being used to detect air quality, traffic emission, and even flood risk zones. All of this data can go on to inform our zoning, our density planning, our green cover strategy, and even now, heat risk. I think all of these things, on all of these fronts, technology actually becomes a multiplier of human ambition and not a substitute for it. I think it calls on all of us as civic actors and industry partners, industry leaders, to come together and collaborate in its implementation. Because I don't think invention is the challenge anymore. It's now about integration and scale. So the next question goes into how can a developer really plug into a larger AI ecosystem? So let's venture a few scenarios. On a neighborhood level, we know that cities are fed through homes, streets, local neighborhoods. Residential developments can actually act as feeders to the larger city data. By that I mean, we can basically, through anonymized and consent-based data, we can use information about traffic movement, water demand, energy demand, and even waste inflow, outflow. When all of that information starts going into civic systems, that will allow civic bodies to kind of plan their last mile services, to notice any stress points in their infrastructure, and then go ahead to allocate their resources more efficiently. We can talk about mobility and access again. Large residential and mixed-use developments have very predictable traffic patterns. That internal information of traffic management, parking systems, entry and exit flows can feed into a larger city-wide AI platform, which will allow developers to possibly reduce the congestion that spills onto busy roads. It can ease out peak hour traffic and possibly even improve emergency access on our roads that we know is a problem today. Third, we can talk about water, energy, and utilities. I think resource consumption becomes very real in buildings, and it's only a matter of time before all developers integrate an AI monitoring system for water consumption, leak detection, energy load balancing, segregating waste, and collection times. Again, if all of that data goes into municipal infrastructure, then instead of adding stress to civic services, it actually eases it. Lastly, we can talk about resilience as a city and preparedness. There are AI models for flood risk, for heat stress, for other emergency responses. It can change the way we act as a city in a time of crisis. The role of developers is not different from civic systems. It is to strengthen them consistently and quietly. But that requires clear data governance, transparent consent frameworks, and strict boundaries on privacy. AI is powerful, but it is not inherently benevolent. AI must remain a tool that is used for public decision-making, but must not operate beyond public accountability. Unchecked surveillance risks, opaque decision-making algorithms, and AI platforms that prefer efficiency over dignity will erode the social fabric that we are trying to strengthen. If we don't build systems that a citizen can trust, we will never be able to build a city that really works for its people. So on Puravankara's 50th year, we choose to be partners in the co-creation of this Bangalore 2040 with policymakers, technologists, educators, and the citizens that believe that Bangalore can be bigger, but also most definitely better. We must design with heart, govern with clarity, and build to ensure growth for generations to come. Thank you.